A group is examining a young Tepetlasaur named Milray who is experiencing health problems. Despite being in pain, Milray remains quiet and brave. It's revealed that Milray fought in a war against the Abyss despite being very young, demonstrating remarkable intelligence and agility rather than brute strength. Kachina explains that Milray has been growing weaker each day. Eva, a veterinarian, is examining him, while Nan, who grew up with Milray, waits nearby. Milray once helped rescue Kachino's daughter when she was lost in the mountains, making his current condition especially concerning to the community. Eva diagnoses Milray with a rare condition caused by using too much phlogiston during the war, despite his young age. The symptoms only recently became apparent because Milray had been hiding his illness to avoid worrying his friends. His condition is now very serious. Eva explains that treating Milray's condition requires two rare ingredients, an ocean zephyr herb and a sacred flame crystal. The latter is particularly elusive, potentially a purer form of the sacred flame that burns in the stadium. Aoife mentions that the ancient people of Natland knew how to make these crystals. Aoife introduces herself as a veterinarian from the Flower Feather clan with her assistant Kakuku. She treated wounded Saurians during the war and discusses the challenges of veterinary medicine, mentioning that her family has practiced medicine for generations, describing it as medicine born of guilt. All 6 tribal chiefs gather to discuss Milray's condition, an unusual occurrence, though they mention they've been meeting more frequently since the war ended. They express concern for Milray, acknowledging the responsibility adults bear when young ones fight in battles. The chiefs discuss the sacred flame crystal. One chief explains that in ancient Netland, besides the pilgrimage of the sacred flame, there existed a more intense combat exercise called the Bloomflower trials that could produce a purer form of sacred flame. The chiefs agreed to revive the Bloomflower trials as a voluntary competition to produce the sacred flame crystal needed for Milray's treatment. They see it as an opportunity for warriors to hone their skills in peacetime while serving a noble purpose. The chiefs plan to return to their tribes to recruit participants for the Bloomflower trials. They will create rules for the competition and seek the Pyro Archon's approval. Meanwhile, some of Milray's friends have arrived, showing his popularity among the Saurian community. A group is wrapping up their time with some Saurians. They plan to bring the Saurians along to teach them how to identify ocean zephyrs. The chiefs move quickly to implement decisions, showcasing their efficiency. The conversation shifts to signing up for something, with Kachina confirming participation. They agree to meet at the speaker's chamber soon. Progress is going well with plans to help someone named Milray recover. A small creature appears anxious, though the meaning behind its behavior remains unclear. A proposal for reviving the Bloomflower trials receives approval. The event has attracted numerous warriors, requiring division into main matches between 2 tribes and exhibition matches between groups of 3 tribes. Safety measures include limiting participants in exhibition matches to manage potential injuries. The main venue will be near the Stadium of the Sacred Flame, with additional arenas around various tribes. The Traveler and Paimon receive good wishes for an unspecified task. The Bloomflower trials evoke nostalgia, having not been held for hundreds of years. Despite the challenge, there's optimism about successfully reviving this ancient tradition. A discussion ensues about rumors regarding sacred flame crystals. Mocha dismisses concerns about any evil power they might harbor, emphasizing that the sacred flame has protected Natland for years. The immediate priority is holding the Bloomflower trials to collect enough sacred flame crystals to heal a Tepetlasaurus. There's anticipation about the new competition bringing fresh challenges and possibly a new story. The Traveler and Paimon are informed that people are waiting for them outside. Representatives from different tribes eagerly approach the Traveler and Paimon, inviting them to join their respective groups for the Bloomflower trials. Each tribe offers enticing incentives, including hot spring vouchers, barbecue feasts, training sessions, fresh vegetables, flying lessons, and special snacks. Finding it difficult to choose just one tribe, a compromise is reached where the traveler will participate with different tribes during different parts of the exhibition matches. For the first half, they'll fight alongside the Scions of the Canopy, People of the Springs, and Children of Echoes against the other 3 tribes. The competition begins with participants heading to their base. The goal is to capture 3 enemy bases in a row to win. Despite Kahulahao's dramatic posturing, the team develops a strategic approach, deciding to follow the water route toward their first target, the Collective of Plenty's base. The opposing team anticipates the water route strategy. A battle ensues with impressive skills displayed on both sides. The protagonists emerge victorious and plant their flag to mark their conquest before moving on to their next target, the Masters of the Nightwind's base. The team identifies their next objective at the Masters of the Nightwind's base. Another intense battle takes place, resulting in another victory. They then spot the Flower Feather Clan's flag on a mountain. With reinforcements arriving, they decide to split into 2 teams, with one group conducting a frontal assault as a diversion. A strategic battle unfolds as the team splits up to assault an enemy base. One group heads directly to the heart of the base, while another uses grappling hooks to climb up. Despite encountering resistance from defenders who note they've found a gap in the defenses, the team remains determined to win. An intense battle erupts with both sides exchanging attacks. The defenders taunt the attackers while unleashing various combat techniques. The battle concludes surprisingly quickly, with the attacking team claiming victory, having successfully taken the base before others even made it halfway up the mountainside. The group discusses their collection of sacred flame crystals. Though only finding small shards, these were handed over to the Masters of the Nightwind Marshals, who gave them to Granny C. Lowly. She confirms they should have enough crystals by the event's end, marking a successful mission outcome. After their victory, the group plans to relax at hot springs that evening. Some need to complete other tasks first, finishing forging commissions at the workshop and helping at a shop to pick up snacks, but all agree to meet later at the People of the Springs. At the hot springs, the celebration begins in earnest. Everyone enjoys the relaxing waters, delicious food, and playful atmosphere. Only Shalonen stays out of the water, preferring to remain at the edge. The group splashes around, shares special treats, and thoroughly enjoys the party. After cleaning up from the party, concern arises about Kachina, who seemed troubled during dinner. A friend asks the traveler to speak with Kachina, as she hasn't sought advice as she usually does. The friend then departs, inviting everyone to return to the People of the Springs anytime. The traveler finds Kachina checking on Mallory and Nyan with her pet Ao. When asked about her mood, Kachina admits feeling lost and hollow after achieving her dream of winning the pilgrimage and earning a place in the Nightwarden Wars. She worries that unlike her friends with responsibilities, she hasn't grown up. The traveler reassures Kachina that everyone feels uncertain about their path at times. Paimon offers an analogy about anticipation being part of life's journey. Kachina begins to understand that not knowing what she wants means her future is still full of possibilities. Greenie C. Lowly arrives to check on the sleeping patient Milray. The conversation turns to sacred flame crystals, which they need to gather to help Milray. Lowly notices something troubling the others and reveals there are fearful rumors about the crystals, mentioning that the Bloomflower trials were stopped previously for unknown reasons. The group decides to investigate the history of the Bloomflower trials and the sacred flame crystals. They head to Greenie C. Lowly's place to examine ancient woven scrolls from the Masters of the Nightwind, hoping to find clues about what happened during the last trials. The investigation begins with numerous scrolls to search through. They learned that the last Bloomflower trials were also held to save an ailing Saurian, but apparently failed. The records mention a falling out between the Flower Feather clan chief and his brother, who later became a recluse, potentially connected to the crystal's power to beguile human hearts. The group decides to split up to gather more information from different sources. Greenicy will search older scrolls, Kachina will speak with Chief Mutoda of the Flower Feather clan, and the Traveler and Paimon will track down a certain Kukasaur that might hold answers about the mysterious crystals. During their search for the Kukasaur, the Traveler and Paimon encounter Molani and Knitch, who are secretly planning strategy for the next exhibition match. When discovered, they admit they're preparing to compete against the Traveler. Upon learning about the search for a rare Kukasaur, they offer to help, noting that the provided location description is too vague in the similar-looking environment. A group decides to split up to search for a Kukasaur. One person will check higher ground and consult with the Flower Feather clan. Another will follow the river, and a third person, who describes themselves as a born hunter with hawk-like vision, will explore nearby areas. Everyone agrees to meet up later to share findings. The search party reconvenes but reports no success in finding the Kukasaur. They note that all Kukasaurs look similar, light and floaty. Despite their efforts, the creature remains elusive. The group offers to continue helping with the search the following day, if needed. Friends from the Flower Feather clan agree to keep watch for the Kukasaur. Someone suggests asking Auroron about setting traps, though another person doubts these would work. The search party departs with wishes of good luck, promising to stay in touch. The investigation has yielded no results about past events. The group considers setting the mystery aside for now, acknowledging that not all historical puzzles can be solved. They find comfort in sticking together through challenges, though disappointment lingers about coming up empty-handed. Aoife arrives with news that a strange Kukasaur has been following her since returning from the Children of Echoes. The creature moves silently and is only visible as a silhouette after dark. It was discovered when Kakuku, who is now unconscious from fright, noticed it outside the window. The group spots the mysterious Kukasaur, which appears unusual and should have returned to the ley lines. When approached, the creature runs away, seemingly wanting to be followed. The group decides to pursue it, curious about where it might lead them. Following the Kukasaur leads to an important discovery: ancient, crudely made woven scrolls that document the last Bloomflower trials from centuries ago. The scrolls are time-worn but still legible, potentially containing answers to questions the group has been seeking. The scrolls reveal a story about treating an ill Saurian named Antu using ocean zephyrs and sacred flame crystals. A healer had arranged a smaller version of the Bloomflower trials to obtain these crystals, with tribes participating as a favor for past medical treatment. The event was seen as a potential opportunity for reconciliation among the tribes. The Bloomflower trials devolved into conflict, with tribes accusing each other of ambushes and injuries. Arguments erupted over the sacred flame crystals, with accusations of theft and deception. The underlying tension between tribes became evident as participants hoarded crystals for themselves rather than using them for healing. The healer returns to discover that the Bloomflower trials turned violent, sparking disputes among tribal chiefs. Worse yet, Antu, the Saurian that needed treatment, disappeared while everyone was distracted by the conflict. The healer confronts their brother, who admits to using the sacred flame crystals for tribal research rather than saving them for Antu's treatment. A powerful story unfolds about tribal conflict and personal regret. A Saurian chief named Vimara is praised for their leadership of the Flower Feather clan, despite the harm their greed has caused. Nampal, filled with remorse, leaves the tribe to find his Saurian companion Antu, who is alone and suffering. Nampal apologizes to Antu, promising to find another solution for his deteriorating condition. After leaving the Flower Feather clan, Nampal lived on a hill with Antu, who was running out of time. They traveled from tribe to tribe, begging for sacred flame crystals as their last hope, but no one believed Nampal anymore. Despite enduring ridicule and abuse, they continued until Antu finally succumbed to his illness. In his final days, Antu appeared consumed by overwhelming sorrow and remorse. At the Children of Echo's tribe, someone tormented them by showing a sacred flame crystal, only to quickly hide it, accusing Nampal of orchestrating a victim charade. Strangely, Antu harbored intense hatred for the sacred flame crystals, using his dwindling strength to try destroying any he saw. Years after Antu's death, Nampal realized the truth. Antu had witnessed people fighting over crystals without understanding why. Antu couldn't comprehend how once friendly humans became enemies, concluding the sacred flame crystals themselves were corrupting people. He carried the guilt that people only sought these crystals to save his life, believing if he hadn't existed, none of the conflict would have happened. Nampal shared this burden of guilt, wishing he had participated in the trials himself or returned sooner. Unable to change the past, Nampal dedicated his life to medicine, healing Saurians of all kinds. He buried Antu on the hill, where he too would eventually rest. Before his death, Nampal recorded everything on scrolls, believing the truth should not remain buried. He hoped future generations would learn from these mistakes and create a united Natland free from bloodshed. In the present, companions discover that Aoife's ancestor was Nampal, and the little Kukasaur spirit following Aoife was once his Saurian companion. The group realizes why no records of the last Bloomflower trials existed. The scandal had tainted all 6 tribes. Ironically, the sacred flame crystals weren't as miraculous as believed. All that scheming was for nothing. Aoife, processing this revelatory connection to her ancestor, meets Antu. They discover the limits of communication with Saurian companions. They can sense feelings, but don't fully understand language. The group debates whether to tell Antu the truth about the past, ultimately deciding it would only cause more distress since those responsible are long gone. They learn that Saurians are like children. They rely on human companions while wanting to prove their worth. Helping others makes them happy. Feeling burdensome makes them sad. Rather than dwelling on past truths, they decide to fulfill Antu's wishes by creating a narrative where they can cleanse the evil within the sacred flame crystals together. The group convenes at a stadium to discuss their plan. They explain Antu's history to everyone, how tribal bloodshed was once commonplace, and how Antu believed sacred flame crystals harbored evil power causing conflicts. They acknowledge it would be impossible to explain the truth to him now without causing suffering. They devise a plan to stage arguments once they collect enough sacred flame crystals, pretending the crystals are corrupting them. Then they'll bring Antu to cast a unity spell, allowing him to believe he's cleansed the crystals of evil. Like an interactive play for children, this performance will give Antu the chance to rewrite his past and feel like a hero who made a difference. A group is planning to help someone named Milray by staging a performance to convince him to take medicine. They need to dispel a curse using sacred flame crystals in front of him. The team requires about 5 additional people to make the show convincing. Several individuals volunteer to help, each offering their unique skills for the performance. With the team assembled, they agree that Varisa will help with cleanup, while others have different responsibilities. Some decline participation due to prior commitments or concerns about their acting abilities. They plan to split into teams after the second half of an exhibition match, hoping to collect more sacred flame crystals to cure Milray. The group begins a strategy meeting for what appears to be a battlefield competition. They discuss tactics involving mountains, flying attacks, and smoke screens to confuse opponents. Some advocate for aggressive approaches, while others suggest caution. The competition starts with teams maneuvering across challenging terrain. The battle intensifies with tactical retreats, base captures, and aerial maneuvers. Granny Seat Lolly joins to provide backup. The opposing team employs counter-strategies, recapturing bases and launching attacks. The group splits their forces to handle the situation, with some defending while others push forward. The final confrontation takes place on a high cliff top as they approach the enemy base. After an intense exchange, victory is achieved. Everyone acknowledges how challenging the battle was, with Granny noting that Mualani fought fiercely. They successfully collect enough sacred flame crystals and prepare for their planned performance. The group reviews their plan. They'll bring the sacred flame crystals. Then Auroron will create a black mist effect, signaling everyone to start their staged argument. Once the conflict escalates, Antu will cast a spell of unity, after which Auroron will clear the mist and everyone will reconcile. The performance begins with Milray appearing reluctant. As planned, someone begins feeling dizzy, and the special effects team activates. Mualani starts the argument but struggles to find a convincing reason. She eventually accuses Kachina of eating the last Saurus cracker, gradually building tension. The staged argument intensifies as more participants join in. Granny confronts Mualani about a damaged door, creating confusion about whether their forgetfulness is real or part of the act. Shilonan delivers a particularly convincing performance, complaining about Mawika's demands regarding equipment repairs and special items. A heated argument breaks out among a group of people, with accusations flying about drinking, debts, and various misdeeds. Kahula Hao, self-proclaimed Dragon Lord, attempts to escalate the situation by suggesting a fight to the death and appointing themselves as referee. The conflict suddenly focuses on someone named Kanich, who becomes confused about being the target of everyone's complaints. Someone dramatically declares they can no longer cleanse the evil power within sacred flame crystals and claims Natlin will be in danger if the argument continues. This person appears to be following a script they prepared in advance. When a hero is called for, someone named Antu is expected to step up, but they seem hesitant. The conflict intensifies with various factions, including the Children of Echoes, exchanging accusations about past wrongs. Antu eventually decides to act, declaring there's no place for evil power in Natland anymore. With help from someone called Auroran, they cast a unity spell that begins to work, causing the evil power to fade. The mood shifts dramatically as everyone begins discussing food preferences, particularly cheese pairings with grain fruit chips. The conversation becomes surprisingly cordial, with plans for future gatherings. This sudden change in attitude confuses some participants, who comment that everyone seems to be under a spell. It's revealed that the sacred flame crystals have been successfully cleansed. The group reveals the argument was actually staged as part of a plan. They've successfully gathered enough ocean zephyrs and sacred flame crystals to create a cure for an ill friend. The ingredients are mixed together in a ceremony that asks the sacred flame crystal to drive away sickness. There's a bittersweet moment as someone named Antu has apparently departed after seeing their friend cured. A physician announces they've made a historic contribution to the study of phlogiston-related diseases. The Bloomflower trials are declared successfully concluded, with an emphasis on how all 6 tribes united without arguments or scheming. A celebration begins with everyone contributing food preparations. Kachina bakes volcano cake, sharing it with Pimon. The mood is cheerful as everyone enjoys the festivities. Someone reflects on how the 6 tribes weren't always united, appreciating the current harmony and deciding to help maintain this unity through baking treats. Paimon notices that Aoife and someone called Cuckoo Thesaurus are missing from the celebration. They learn that this person went to pay respects to their ancestor. The group decides to bring cake and check on them. The celebration continues with toasts to the successful conclusion of the Bloomflower trials, with everyone looking forward to a well-deserved rest after the competition.